changing the world at every Sunday on Hiradio.
They tell us that this particular person or that particular country has greater or more favorable potentialities than the other. They do not tell us that we should unite, that we are all as good as we are able to make ourselves.
Tomorrow, I go change my tomorrow. Tomorrow, we go change them today. Don't you wait for tomorrow. We go change them today. Eh, eh. We know tomorrow gon' be different. And together we gonna shine, shine, shine on. United we will change our story. And forever we gonna smile, smile. But for today I choose to be happy. And nothing gonna change my mind today. When I go be my portion. And nothing gonna change my mind today. Hey, hey. And my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head will never frown. Oh, my hope is in you, and I'm looking onto you. For tomorrow go be better day, I no go very frown. Tomorrow, I have hope for tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. We gon' change them today. Hey, hey. You are the one who lights up my day. And without you, I'll never get this far. No matter what, even evil comes my way. You are the one who lifts my head in all. All of my friends have walked on their way, way, way. Want to ask me how I come this far? I tell them all my hope is here to stay. The Lord Almighty who never let me fall. Lord, my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head will never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow go be better day, I don't go they frown. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I go change back tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. He has done it today. Eh, eh. Tomorrow, I go change my tomorrow. Don't you wait for tomorrow. He has done it today. Eh, eh, eh. Lord, my hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head will never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow be a better day, I no go they frown. My hope is in you, cause you never let me down. Lord, you don't change my story, and my head will never frown. All my hope is in you, and I'm looking unto you. For tomorrow be a better day, I no go they frown.
Until Africa comes together.
Salty Soul with their record called My Everything. I absolutely love that jam. It's one that I really like listen to during studies and stuff like that. And Salty Soul is just one of at the moment best performers as far as African sounds is concerned. If you ask me, yes, he's better than the Davidos and the Wizkid and stuff because they bring the show. Like seriously, they are that talented. They play instruments, they dance, the fashion, everything. So that is definitely an East African, Kenyan, to be specific, um, a talent that I really and truly admire. And here we are at Africa on Focus. I just want to welcome you on this Sunday again for tuning in with us wherever you are in this place in the world, and really to discuss mainly talk about how can we stay positive throughout this pandemic, and of course let's discuss the highlights of what's going on in on the continent and in our world. Welcome to High Radio, the voice of the next generation. We are streaming now live on the usual radio platform, which you can find via www.highradionnl.com. You can also find us on our partnering platforms such as TuneIn and our own app. You can listen to this show. If you are on social media, Facebook, you simply find us on High Radio NL page if you want to see the faces to these voices. And also, you can find me on the YouTube channel Africa on Focus to interact with us. This is fully interaction talk. We need to hear from you wherever you are in the world. So, again, welcome. I'm your host, Miss Abba, and I'll be taking you through the course of the next hour plus. Let me just call it that way. First, I just want to give a shout out to you for wherever you are listening, and a shout out to Gary, who's already like on the front line, just tuning in and showing some love. Shout out to you. Thank you for all of that, and do be invited to engage in a conversation. If you are watching us on our Facebook page, do feel free to share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is actually, reaching out to all of the rest of the world concerning this show. Let me get Donny on because he's been there with his earphones all set and ready. Hello, Donny.
Yes, hi, good evening. Hello,
How are you?
konnichiwa.
Good.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
Where did
fine. How
that
are you?
come from? Is it did you eat something different? Did you order food today?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
I'm good.
since
I
since
had
it's
fried
like
yams.
you had fried yams, oh that's good. So what kind of peppers? Is it the green one, red one, or black one?
Okay, I have to disappoint you on that one. Nope, nothing. Just fried yams.
Oh,
Oh, please don't
oh,
beat me.
well why though?
Oh, I know, very poor, very dry, but hey, but it's not Ghana. Yeah, it's not like
Man,
Ghana. But it was
man,
alright. It was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
that sounds
it.
painful, man. But did
Mhm.
you you didn't add nothing to it? I know some people just add curry or ketchup. Did you do that or?
No, and it's funny, my diet over here, my eating habits over here, the things I eat over here is different, and how I eat it is also very different
Different.
than yeah than back home. So, but
But,
hey,
but why?
but it
Is it
was good.
because is it
Hmm.
because back home you're like being fed, and here it's like you just have to figure
Yeah,
out and plan what you need to
that's
eat and
one.
stuff.
That's one. Back home is like being fed. That's plays a major role. I mean,
Right,
and living on your own, you cook differently than when you're with your own, like when you go, for instance, to your mom's place or something.
right,
And
right,
I, for myself, independently, I have a strict diet, right? Low carbs,
right.
low sugars, low fats,
Mm-hmm.
or at least good fats. So I'm very strict on that. But
Okay,
But when I go outside or I go to Ghana or to my parents, then I can eat with them, and then I will have
right.
whatever they are having.
Yes,
But yeah, so I just had fried jams with fried jams. That's it.
right,
That's all right. It's good. It was tasty.
right. So did you, since you're on this specific diet, was it deep fried as like we're used to, or do you also have to like find an
Of bacon.
amended?
No, no, it was just just deep fried, just deep
Oh,
fried.
okay, okay.
And I
So you
could
didn't.
I I, I could add pepper, like the one with tomatoes and onions
Yeah,
and
because
pepper.
that one is
I could have
healthy,
added that
right?
one. but I don't have the that if I say that thing
To
to
mash it.
yam it in to mash it. Yeah, I don't have that.
But that's not. You can still blend it though. Like you know,
I don't like it. I don't like the
there is a
blended version.
solution for that. Like even people even go like student life. They like mash it with just a normal mashing machine, and then you're laughing. That's for real. And then freeze. Even like if they have made too much, they would just freeze.
Yeah,
The rest
no,
of it and just have some available. And why are you
the
laughing?
struggle because it's so real. The extent to which people will go here in the Netherlands, like the Ghanaians, especially the students or whatnot, just to have, their African food. It's,
Yeah,
it's so,
yeah.
but yeah, I commend it.
Yeah, it's totally not fresh, but it's still a way to, I mean, have a
Enjoy some.
bite of kind of just the way to work around it. I guess that's really the
Yeah.
thing. But I'm glad you had your good enjoying food. I think that enjoying good food is one of the things to we'll discuss it later on, right? But having good food
Hmm.
is a way of getting yourself through, you know,
Yes.
just the adapted lifestyle that we are in now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, I would say that. But good to hear that you had some good yams to eat. I think I recommend everybody to just have good yams to eat. By the
Yeah.
way, I really had an interesting recording yesterday. Um, I had them as a special guest. I don't think I think this was just right before you came in, and they are like the founders of AfriBowl. They were the ones that introduced their kind of bullfruit to like the Dutch market. So
Oh.
every winter time, their type of donut or bullfruit is available in Albertine and stuff.
Huh?
And they have this interesting campaign going on, or not a campaign, but it's just like a really interesting way of branding. And on their channels, they're creating videos whereby people from either African descent, European descent, or whatever, they get to taste different African dishes, you know.
Oh.
And yeah,
I think I must have seen it pop up somewhere.
right, right,
Like these
right.
four people, right? Or something.
Sorry?
Is it like four people get to try
Yeah,
African
yeah,
dishes every week or every
yeah.
episode?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I was part of the being the guinea pig. It will come on
Mm,
Women's Day because this theme is like, impact for women coming on the 8th of March, I guess. But when it comes, I'll share. And I
okay.
got to
Okay.
taste food from Libya, food from Angola, food
Oh,
from
wow.
Liberia and Senegal. So speaking
Oh,
of food,
nice.
that was a real interesting way of knowing food that is like, coming from other countries, of where we're from. And it's
Yeah.
so funny how West African food in general is kind of like we just know when it's West African because they asked, we had to like guess where everything was from. And
Hmm.
I think I was the only one that had everything like correct,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like you just recognize being Ghanaian, like the kind of food that just West Africans gravitate to. It's not there is no first course. It's a lot of it's what
Mm,
you eat as a snack could at the same time be your meal. Those type of thing.
hmm.
Um, and
Interesting.
what you see is then like the Egypt and all of those other countries are sort of like Arabic influence,
Yeah,
and they use like
of course.
couscous and things that we West Africans just don't,
Olives.
So
Hmm.
it was a really interesting experience, and I'm actually going to do it more. But I would definitely recommend recommend for people that trying to get their way through to kind of to try if you are West, East, South, Southern African to really try
Hmm.
like other dishes from the continent. I think it's really refreshing to
Okay.
do that. Yeah. That was on a random note. That was on a random note, really. How has this lockdown been treating you? I think connection is a bit stuck there. um, I was just sharing about food. I think Donny's connection will just recover in a bit. I was sharing about food, my experience of with African food, because one episode I had the founders of AfriBowl here on the show. They're both Cameroonian, Dutch Cameroonians, and basically they're introducing African food to what we here know as mainstream. And it was such a pleasant experience to be able to have them and to interact with them on such a show. Johnny will be coming from that grin back again in a bit. But in the meantime, welcome to African Focus. Here is where we share our success stories one by one. And we get to dive into what's going on in our world. Wherever you are listening from, YouTube, Facebook, and all of that, do give us a shout out. Let us know where you're listening from. How are you doing this lockdown? I think we sort of have here in the Netherlands, was it yesterday or something, of 1 year anniversary. I'm like, no, this is not good to have this anniversary. But let me just get Donny back in. So, Donny, what did you do on the COVID anniversary yesterday?
Was it yesterday? I have no
I
idea.
think so. I
But
think somebody told me yesterday, like, oh, we have, last year on this date was the first COVID case.
oh my goodness, COVID anniversary doesn't sound too good. But
That sounds terrible.
it does. I was in Brussels yesterday.
Okay. Okay. Back before curfew, or did you spend like time there?
No, back before curfew just made it. But what's
Yeah.
interesting, in Belgium, they're not on curfew, nor are they on a lockdown. I mean, the malls are pretty much open, just not
Okay.
all the stores are open, and so
Right.
it's quite it's better than over here. But I've also learned that they went into lockdown way before earlier than
Way,
the Dutch did.
way
So yeah.
earlier. Way earlier. We're considered as kind of like a laid back, country just doing things just late. That's really what we're considered. And I think they started curfew. Let me even look it up. When did curfew start? In Belgium. I'm just curious because I wouldn't be surprised if they actually started last year, May or something. You know, I'm so curious. Because what I do see is like people on social media and in my timeline, when they feel they
Mhm.
really want to freely shop at Action and all this stuff, they're just going to Belgium, you know. Let me see. So, okay, so it turns
In
out that since the
October.
19th of October, yeah, there had been a curfew in Belgium and in Brussels and Wallonia. I don't know where that is, but that one starts at 10 and it's up until 6 a.m. So basically, they have been full on doing it 6+ months as far as curfew is concerned. So did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
notice like any vibe? When sometimes you get into a space and you just have this vibe of unrest or tension or freedom. How was it?
Oh, I mean, people will just walk around freely. You would see that, like, let's say on the streets. It's not only in the public places that people are wearing masks, but also on the regular streets.
Right.
Most of them were still wearing their masks. So it is well regulated. I mean, people take it serious over there. But
Yeah.
let's say in the public spaces, there is no anxiety, or you won't feel like people don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. That's good.
Right.
Yeah, that's. That was just my field. And I've actually learned I wasn't supposed to be there or something. If I could have gone fined or something.
You weren't
That's what
supposed
I
to be
learned when
there?
I came back. Friend, yeah, a friend told me I could have received a fine for traveling to Brussels and back, but I
Oh
wasn't
wow,
aware of that.
that's a lot. Why was
Mhm.
that?
'Cause, I don't think we were allowed to just freely travel across the border. But I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
if it's that's the Dutch law or the Belgian
Mm-hmm.
law that will,
Right.
yeah, will make a big deal
Yeah,
of
it was
it.
something like you have to get tested, because I do know from people even driving in from France and stuff, you will have to get tested on the border.
Yeah, yeah,
I do.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been something else. It's definitely been something else. So did you go and shop your needed item, or did you just need a sweet escape?
Well, yeah. So one of my brothers is planning on marrying. So like let's say the groom's team, the groom's
Yeah.
men and myself, yeah. The tailor,
Right.
they found a tailor down in Brussels, and so we had to go in for the measurements and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
So
sounds
we were
like a
able
fun
to.
escape.
It was a fun escape, but because you're dealing with curfew and because it's a long drive as well, what, 2.5 or something. Yeah,
Right.
that's not that long, but you tend to be limited in amount of fun that you could have.
Right.
Yeah, but it was all right. It was good being together with them. We couldn't
Yeah.
pack the car as like we would use like we would. So I
Yeah.
think there were six of us, and we went with three cars. So three cars each on average.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was sufficient. Oh no, yeah,
Yeah.
that was sufficient. No, there were
So
seven
what
of us. Two,
so
three
what's
car, three in one car, two. Yeah, that was
so
so.
what are the rules on that one? Like driving. Totally forgot about that part.
Yeah, because here in the Netherlands, maximum two persons allowed in a car. As
A
long
maximum of two?
unless
Okay.
yeah,
I missed
two
that.
strangers. Unless they're family, then you can
Right.
pack a family in within a car. But it's only let's say a taxi driver and one passenger, for instance,
Right.
um, or you and your neighbor or your friend in one
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we try to adhere those rules, and we managed. It was good. Luckily, the
Mhm.
police are not so are not checking on those type of
Mhm.
shenanigans. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. Phew. Well, it's very interesting. Well, if you want to know the latest news that happened in Amsterdam, it seems that people were really ready to have a good time. Because it was said that people at the which park was it again?
The Vondo Park.
Park. We're having a
Yeah.
party, and basically, it's that was super random. The police had to just
Mhm.
yeah, keep that under control. Basically, it seems that at the end, well, when was this actually? It was 4 days ago. So all of a sudden, a party takes place at the Vondo Park, which is like a public, well-known park, in Amsterdam. Do you have any idea of how this thing started? Was it like, okay, let's bring on a DJ? Do you know the backstory to this?
The sun. It's being sunny.
Right.
Yeah, we've been blessed with a lot of sun this week,
Yeah.
and even earlier this week or the beginning of this week,
Hmm.
temperatures were around started with 14 degrees, 15.
17
So
even.
by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 16, 17 degrees. So you can imagine 17
Wow.
degrees. That's like you can wear just a pullover or a hoodie or even like
Did you do
that
that?
spring jacket. Hood.
Right.
No, no. But you could have just gone outside like that. So,
Yeah.
and that, that's what yeah, that's actually the cause of this party because
Right.
people ended up going outside in massive numbers.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. So Amsterdam's Wonderpark was filled
Hmm.
with hundreds of partying young people yesterday violating coronavirus measures because basically we've been advised not to just group, I think, with more than three people on a particular distance. So it had been an exceptionally sunny weekend last weekend. Today was kind of mock a mocking sunny weekend because the sun was out, but it was still 4 or 5 degrees or something like that.
So yeah, yeah.
Well, it brought a smile to the faces of some and a difficult afternoon for others. The police were forced to intervene in Amsterdam's Vondelpark after hundreds of people gathered to party and protest against the current coronavirus measures in the Netherlands, according to RTL News. So, shortly after 8 p.m., the municipality appealed to the people present in the park to go home and warned that the police would intervene if necessary. And one thing is, when that happens, you really have to. I probably think you can count on MA, you know, which is, I don't know what the English word for it is, but we have this, let me just call a police department that,
Anti-riot.
right, that, don't take any nonsense. They don't take any nonsense. They have, because here in the Netherlands, the general police car is, white with red and blue stripes, but their car and their, thing is, was in navy blue. And when they come to the scene and you don't want to get your butt whooped, you better escape from the place because they don't care who you are. It doesn't matter how nice you look, what political position. They will beat everybody in in the
Exactly.
location. They just come to attack and not to negotiate at all. So, and they come with dogs and stuff. So, at first, so at 8:15, 10 police vans drove into the park, which forced the remaining attendees to leave the location. A large group of protesters had already gathered on Museum Plein, which is also another, um, um, what can I call it? A plein,
Open space. So
open space.
yeah.
No, yeah, I will come up with the word. Earlier in the day, and some of them moved to Vundo Park, which is another park, after the crowd on Museum Plan was dispersed by the riot police. The order to stop the Museum Plan demonstration was given by Amsterdam's mayor, Femke Halsema. And people attending these gatherings are done with the lockdown, said a commentator present in Vundo Park. Femke Halsema, which is the mayor, is using a double standard. The museum plan was immediately swept clean, but we are able to party in Wonder Park without the police intervening. Another person added. So basically, they were able to, gather along. I'm just curious to see. Let me see if I can show, how crazy everything looked because it was there. Were you there, Donny?
No, I dropped someone off over there and I went to pick up some food, but no, I didn't go to the park myself because I already
Let us
knew
still
what was
wonder.
gonna happen because it was so
I
busy.
I
Everyone,
know.
I'm going there, I'm going to the phone park, and I was like, nah,
Oh, so
you
it was
guys can
like
go.
people were like planning to go there.
Yes, yes,
That is
yes,
crazy.
because it's Amsterdam's largest park, and it's right in the center of the city. So
Right,
yeah,
right. I see. I wouldn't have expected that. I also didn't hear of any other cities, pulling the attention like that. But just look at, how it looked. Well, this is definitely a crowd. It's a public place, and basically you can go there whenever you want. I don't think they pretty much locked it down, but on a good weather day, a lot of people just go to mingle and sit down. In the name of social distancing, this is not the
no,
way to do, or to even, do the social distancing as we should. I happen to notice a lot of young people. Is it me or
No, lots of young people and no masks.
No mask. Yeah, people don't care at all. That's really well. That is an interesting highlight, I would say. Um, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't. I With this weather, I wasn't tempted to like go to a park like for um for me, I really take it kind of serious, this COVID thing. Even because even on the set right yesterday, like the social distancing was there. I come in wear my mask. I didn't hug people as much as I had the most incredible conversations with people. I mean, I had such a good time talking to people and talking about where they're
Hmm.
from and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I'm just not going to fall into temptation and be thinking that I can just hug people I like. I don't know.
Hmm.
I do feel that we young people can kind of feel relaxed about it and be like, oh, I'm just chilling with, you know, I like them, or just doing it for the wrong reasons, I feel.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
how have
So
you been, how have you been applying the code of conduct?
the code of conduct. Well, so like for instance, yesterday when meeting the other groomsman, there was a little bit of okay, what do we do? Do we elbow? Do we like pound the knuckles? Do we like go for the traditional,
Yeah,
hugging and then but we kept it cool on just
right.
a
Right.
box that time.
Okay.
And even in the beginning in the car we would wear our masks, but then we would take it off because it's a
Yeah.
2.5 hour drive and we were talking and
Yeah.
it's quite uncomfortable sitting in the car in a space and then talking with a mask. So
Absolutely.
eventually it
Yeah.
did
I can imagine.
die down a bit, but yeah. So but it was we took it into account. I mean, we didn't overdo it, and even the places where we went, the first thing was, hey, do we all have our masks? And that's how
Yeah.
we kept it moving. And same thing, like even going there, we thought about, okay, how many of us are there? What are the rules? And how are
Yeah.
we going to get there without breaking the rules? So if there are five of us
Yeah.
going, okay, we need at least two cars, two in one and then three in the other car, so we can move accordingly. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, we keep in that, and we have to, or we have to do to stay on point with those restrictions or regulations. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think it's important for safety measures. Yeah, just coming to say stay safe. You don't want no COVID experience. um yeah, nah. I'm just like, for how I've heard people talking about it, saying like this is an intense cold, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna risk it. Not today. Not ever. And I would say that people are really tired of sitting indoors. It's been a year since any lockdown has been relevant. What I do remember is that during the summer it was hard for people to stay distant. On hot summer days, going to the beach and things like that. So I don't know still how long this is going to take, but um, yeah, we would just have to see where it's going to take us, and maybe find some alternative ways to enjoy our warm summer days, when the sun is out. But it's going to be tough. I even heard of one sort of a protest or something like that. So restaurant owners are just going to allow people to have a seat on their terrace, like their front porch, with their own drinks, because they are not allowed to serve yet. I think after the 15th of March, restaurants and bars will be able to service people. Um, so I think it's coming week where some, like in Rotterdam area, which is like just like Amsterdam, just the place where people go out for drinks and stuff like that. I feel that going out for drinks, sitting outside is so much part of Dutch culture that it's like a way for the Dutch to escape and But yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much what restaurant and bar owners will be doing to protest in a way, because the support also for them, the financial support, hasn't been that
Yes.
much from the time, I think last year, May or something, when there was some type of subsidy announced, and yeah, so people are really tired of it, really, really, really much so. Another
That's
funny
true.
thing I
Yes.
also saw was this interview, this Dutch influencer, rapper influencer, Defano Holbein, had the Minister of Health on his show, on his Instagram live, basically.
Mm,
And, there he was interacting with like a lot of young people, obviously, because his following that show up on that live, 20K people, also feel frustrated and things. So people are like, from not believing that COVID is as dangerous to, just being tired of being indoors, to all of
mhm.
that. Like, people are just really now pushing, is there a way we could just still have our normal life back? That's really what it goes down to. Yeah,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
absolutely.
And
So
oh,
I
and what was said? What was said? What did the Minister of Health? What did he
oh
state?
man,
Do you
you know,
know?
yeah, the moment I tuned in, he talked about, obviously, he gave some answers regarding the vaccination, that, it is not
Mhm,
possible by law to demand that people, take a vaccine. Um,
mhm,
and he also shared that, they are working on ideas, and hopefully towards the summer people can, be able to enjoy their usual festivals in an adjusted format, and that they
yeah.
are collaborating with like public events and things like
Okay.
that, to find means and ways, number one, to reach out to their specific young people, to communicate the measures, and
Mhm,
also to provide an adjusted festival or event or something like that.
okay.
So those
Okay.
were the type of conversations that they were having. And the funny thing is, I think he was sipping on a glass of beer, and
Mhm,
people in the comments, because obviously you also find people that really are into politics and, you know,
yes.
COVID measures, study that, basically were like, yeah, he can't come with a glass of beer, and if he makes the reference to to people with a migrant background as allochtone, let alone the real conversation that he's having behind closed doors, obviously, typical Dutch, having that critical outlook on
Mhm,
on him. But it was interesting. I think that live interview is still on his wall. Check out the Founder Holbein page. He's really doing a lot of good things for young people. So, yeah, that was
nice.
quite
Nice.
interesting, by
Nice.
the way.
Nice.
Yeah. What else in COVID news? UK, the danger zone. I realized that we shouldn't consider UK's problem as a distant problem, but really keep an eye on that, so that, we can like stay woke. I feel.
Hey,
What's going on there?
UK is just 45 minutes. By flight, by plane,
Yeah.
from Amsterdam. So they're very close to us, as close as our border, Germany is. So we should keep them indeed very close, and lots of us have relatives living there. So whatever is
Yeah.
happening over there, we should be uh, um, be aware of, as well as whatever is happening here. They should be aware of.
Yeah.
And what I do know is that things are going quite good over there.
Right.
The numbers have been dropping as the vaccine or the vaccinations have been going up. From our
Yeah.
from last week's news feed that we did, we saw that okay, they're reaching their target. Their target was supposed to get 18 million by March. As of last week, they were at 16 million, at least the first dose of the Pfizer
Yeah.
vaccine. So they're on target. They're on target, and it shows in the number as well. UK COVID alerts levels downgraded to severe as case numbers fall because 3 months
Right.
ago or in the wake of the new year, when it was noticed or identified that there was this new mutated form of COVID discovered in
Right.
from South Africa, from UK, etc. Their country was
Mm-hmm.
banned. UK was banned from flying. Flights were banned from flying to
Yeah.
different parts of Europe and elsewhere in the
Yeah.
world, and also internally or nationally in the UK, their grade of, let's say, what do you call it? The let's say the level of alert went to the highest. Um, but now the cases are dropping, vaccinations are coming in, they're on schedule.
Yeah.
You can see the numbers fall. Uh, so that level has been downgraded, and
Yeah.
so that's how things are going over
Mm-hmm.
there as of now. The ban
Yeah.
has not been lifted
Mm-hmm.
to traveling to
Which,
flying, for instance, to the Netherlands.
yeah.
Still there, but at least nationally they are doing very good. On a daily, their daily vaccinations 400,000. Their daily cases of COVID just 6,000. Daily deaths 144. Just to give you some numbers, which is
Yeah.
quite contained in
Mm-hmm.
comparison to 3 weeks or 6 weeks ago, where the daily cases were way above 15,000 or even
Yeah.
20,000, and as well as the deaths. So it's you gradually they're recovering. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I think if this keeps going on,
Yeah.
um, because before we had already reported that the prime minister couldn't give a verdict on when things or when the restrictions or regulations will be lifted or loosen up a bit. But if this progress keeps going up, right, then the COVID alert levels last May, it might be, yeah, it might be eased out or eased down a bit for the UK residents to also enjoy the summer. As of now, he's still the Prime Minister Boris Johnson can't say anything yet. However, since their plan is to have at least half of the population vaccinated by the summer,
Right.
then I think they're going to make it, and then I think the UK will be even enjoying. Yeah, they'll be able to enjoy summer. Their ban will be lifted. Their travel ban will be lifted, and yeah, everything will be good. But then they have to keep on. They have to keep on going the
Yeah.
way they're going right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
I
the
think
news from UK.
that offers a better perspective because theirs was like dramatic, and they have this way of like introducing tier one, tier two, tier four, tier five. You know what I mean? It kind of raises the suspense if you ask me. Like for us, it was just like okay,
Yes.
curfew, no curfew, lockdown. You know what I mean? But with them, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
Yeah.
seems serious.
Because the country, the UK is also so big that each region, the
Hmm.
COVID had a different, or let's say the each region was affected differently um,
Right.
by the COVID. So it's quite hard to say okay everything yeah, everything critical, everything just severe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it got so bad that they actually had to, in the entire UK was leveled or was labeled critical,
Yeah.
but now it's severe. So yeah, Good hopes
All
for
right.
UK. Good hopes.
Good hopes for that. All right. Well,
Hmm.
wherever you are in the world, tuning in to Africa on Focus from our website, www.highradionl.com, or even on our YouTube page, Africa on Focus, please do share, wherever you are listening, wherever you are listening from. Shout out to Kendi Sylvia, who's saying, hey, 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 back at you, and also to Mensa Gary. In in case you haven't seen us on the Facebook page, we are quite limited due to sometimes that we get to share a music
Still,
that is not allowed. Yes, still. So you know what? I'm just reverting everybody to YouTube. YouTube is the place where it's at. So if you are there, feel free to share the link. And also, do let us know, how you are experiencing this lockdown wherever you are in the world. I always like to hear that. Yesterday, I met somebody from Trinidad and Tobago, and he was saying, in my country, the first COVID case was already ending of December, that we've caught it. And for the rest of it, it's almost non-existent because we just choose to live our lives. And that's what I've noticed from a lot of African or Caribbean countries, who are just like, listen, pandemic, who? But anyway, we would still like to hear from wherever you are in the world how you are doing. In a bit, we're going to be talking about some things that you could do to get yourself through this pandemic. And I tell you, they are worth trying out. But first, you know what? Let's listen to some music. We're just going to listen to some Nafi Ma, who is with her record BTL. I'm just loving the groove to that song. So I definitely really feel that is worth sharing. When we come back, we will be discussing more what's been going on the African continent, specifically Ghana. And then we'll be rounding up with what you can do to get yourself through this pandemic. Did you know that gardens bring out a very good relief to go through? Cooking your favorite dish actually adds something pleasing to the mindset and some workout tips to help you on your way. We'll be right back. But first, let's listen to some Nafimar. Well, that was Darko Vibes. And before that, you listened to Nafi Ma from Naija. And we're back here again, myself and Donny, on Africa on Focus. It's almost 8:30 CET, which is Amsterdam time. And we're coming to you live on this lockdown mode, simply just to be home before curfew. that's really that's really the reason that we are here. And myself and Donnie, every week we talk about matters rising as it relates to African people. And today we are actually talking about very interesting topics. I know that you've been bombarded with news surrounding COVID, but we're given this a sort of a positive twist to really talk about, how to get yourself through this pandemic, constantly being at home and things like that. It requires some adjustment. Before we're going to go on, just want to give a few shout outs to some companies that make this possible and that that ensure that things kind of happen here. Of course, aside from us streaming on High Radio, which is the voice of the next generation, coming to you live from Amsterdam, we have some interesting small businesses that we work with. And the first thing is, in case you need a streaming, no, not a streaming, what am I even talking about? In case you need websites, graphic, or any of that, you might want to get in touch with B Artist. And B Artist is a Black owned company, very focused, kind of boutique company. You need web hosting, you need website service, like design, like good design. You should definitely look for them. Your complete website and a graphic design solution, beartist.eu. There is where you can find them. Also, affordable every year is where you pay for, your web hosting, your domain name, plus a package of emails that you have, for your private company, organization, church, whatever that you are starting. A website is definitely your digital store and very, very essential, especially in this time. Almost everything is going virtual. So you definitely want to check them out. good price, service oriented, and they'll definitely get you what you need. Also, on another note, also by Austin, which is the company that pretty much like drives everything from the show that also relates to the content, the development, the writing, the podcasting, management, and everything. Elevating your brand is what they do. So you have a company. Company is one, but the next thing that you should also have is your brand. Making your brand work and really connecting business with digital, connecting your business goals with also social. I would assume that figuring out how to deal with the online world to make sure that your business runs well and that it supports what you do is quite of a thing to master. Well, By Austin does all of that, and they happen to focus on international markets, African markets specifically, branding strategy, communications, business development, even in the case where you are having your business idea and you need to have that structured, they'll be the ones to be putting that out for you. So for that, make sure that you visit www.buyaustin.com. That is the promotion break, basically. A lot has been going on in our world. A lot has been, happening, obviously, here on the show. I have been getting a lot from Ghana side about a vaccine. Did you catch the news on that, Johnny?
Yes, let's go to Ghana. Ghana
Let's do that.
has been on the news this week. Yes, yes, yes. They have been on the news
Hmm.
this week regarding certain issues. But the first
Not
one
not
was
not
indeed
only from Stevie
the
Wonder.
no. Oh, see that one too. Yeah, not only from Stevie Wonder. Right. Stevie
Did you?
Wonder is going to lives in Ghana. He said, right? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
What did
yeah,
he
yeah.
say?
Definitely, definitely. Brings Ghana on the map again. I think he said it on the interview with Oprah Winfrey, basically saying that he
Hmm.
doesn't want his grandkids to, go through what he went through or something like that. Yeah,
Living in a society like the American. Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
People are
then,
tired.
good choice for him. For Ghana is Ghana is a really it's a good good choice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would say Ghana is definitely a good choice. I was talking about it with my auntie, and my aunt is really kind of, she follows those showbiz type of thing. And she said, well, he
Hmm.
planned on doing that before, some years ago. But I think it was after or before Rollins came. So it's like it wasn't as, um, I don't know if it was a safety reason,
I
but,
wasn't.
something happened where he just didn't do that. But she explained that
Okay.
Ghana has had some waves, some like periods of waves of people being interested to come down and relocate. So this
Mm-hmm.
definitely wasn't anything new. And I remember also when we paid a visit to Denta, but she also mentioned, she was like, yeah, a lot of Black Americans have come down to like stay, you know.
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
pretty interesting.
Interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. What I would love to see is pretty much these people, and I would say these people obviously because they are Africans, with a different story. Let me just put it that way, different history. They are excellent, if these people built, U.S. and these people coming to live in Ghana, I think that it's something
Hmm.
that's if it's managed well, could really be a blessing, you know, to in terms of
Yeah.
employment,
Yeah.
the ecosystem in terms of business, maybe even creative, because I know Ghana really needs like for arts and creative to really have like a backbone, something strong. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really exciting period to be in. But back to news. We were talking about the vaccine. I thought, Donny, that in terms of vaccine, African countries were postponing that to 2022. I really thought, because of the rushing, but I don't know. Not from what I read.
No, no, even though Africa has been a continent where the impact of COVID, it has been the least, still,
Yeah.
it doesn't take away that if some sort of COVID comes along, if COVID were to mutate in a way or in a form that will definitely have an impact, then things are going to be very disastrous. So so they have to take this as serious as everyone else. And
Yeah.
with that, the development comes that, hey, if there's a vaccine, then they should also, take that vaccine. Whereas
Right.
I know one of the other countries has definitely said that they are not going to take any vaccine. Do you remember what country that was?
Tanzania or something? Tanzania is like I do know that they are like, listen, what?
Yeah,
Tanzania and
Tanzania is indeed rejecting the
right?
vaccine. Yeah, whereas
Yeah.
they are country like Ghana, they cannot say that Ghana is an entry country for many international countries
Right.
for business as well for tourism. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they did order some vaccines. The vaccines they ordered are different than are coming in from a different manufacturer than the ones that we're using here in
Yeah.
Europe. So the Pfizer, the BioNTech, they have what they call the COVAX vaccine, and it's been
Right.
sponsored to them. So Ghana becomes first country in the world to receive free COVAX vaccine. On Wednesday, Ghana received COVID-19 vaccines from COVAX, an international cooperative program whose mission is to ensure the low and middle income countries are not left behind in the distribution of coronavirus vaccines. The shipment consisting of 600,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines arrived Wednesday morning at the Kotoka International Airport. The vaccines, which are part of the first wave of vaccines deliveries headed to several low and middle income countries, were produced by the Serum Institute of India in the Indian city of Pune. A joint statement issued by UNICEF Ghana and WHO Ghana said. So these vaccines are also used in the UK. Matter of fact,
They
these
are.
vaccines, I think, yeah, they are used.
Right.
The AstraZeneca vaccines, yes, they're used in the UK.
Right.
I know a lady who's a nurse in the UK, and she
Hmm.
posted a picture of her being vaccinated or receiving like the letter, and I saw the
Yeah.
AstraZeneca vaccine on it. So I
Hmm.
suspect that here in the Netherlands they're using it too. So it's not a different vaccine. It's actually the same vaccines used here uh, in abroad, or let's say in the third world countries. That's the same vaccines that Ghana has also received, but
Right.
they received it from COVAX, which is this international program that was also making sure that it's not only the developed country that received it, they received the vaccines, but also
Right.
the developing countries. Mind you, over here, the first and second vaccines that we used in are the Pfizer and then BioNTech, right? So the AstraZeneca, which is the third or fourth option. So it's not the top tier. However, it's also one that is used here or that is has been accepted and legalized here to use as a vaccine. So yeah, they are receiving some
Right.
quality stuff. Yeah,
Okay. All right. I didn't know that.
six
I
six
didn't know
hundred.
that.
And the president of Ghana volunteered or offered to go first on
Look at
on
that.
in public to take,
Okay.
yeah, to take the vaccine.
Okay. Look at
So
that.
yeah, yeah. President Akufo-Addo first to take COVID vaccine jab to clear all doubts. Um,
All
Here
right.
it reads, Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Insias has given a clear indication that the President of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will be the first Ghanaian to receive the jab um, of the COVID vaccine 19. The advisor on health, who spoke to Accra-based TV3, said President Akufo-Addo will be the first to be vaccinated. This is to assure Ghanaians that the vaccines are safe and any other reactions like headache, dizziness, or pains are all usual with every vaccination. So this is also to
Right.
demonstrate that, hey, these vaccines are safe, and the first person to try them out is actually
Is
the
the
president. So I think I want to see that footage when they do it.
when it drops.
I
Yeah.
probably will try to, yeah, I'll try to watch it live if they'll broadcast it on YouTube. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good initiative. Yes, definitely.
Well, hats off to you. The president, I think, was a couple of months ago where he was shortlisted as, I think, uh, one of the responsible leaders or something like that. So I guess
Hmm.
this, you know, shows that he's worth whatever that title was. I would say I can definitely see that, and they're starting a vaccination campaign. 2nd of March will be conducted in phases, beginning with health workers, adults of 60 years and over. Well, our president is on top of my head 77, so he definitely has to be one of the first getting
He
that.
needed one. Huh?
Anyway, like as a leader getting contracting COVID-19. I mean, I remember how the UK president looked like. He looked terrible. Boris.
Oh, just
That
one
was
year.
his hair already looks messed up, but this was not good the way he was looking.
Yeah.
um,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
People with underlying health conditions, frontline executive, legislature, judiciary, and their related staff. Ghana's acting Minister of Information, Kojo Opong Kroma, said in a statement. So this is really interesting. I didn't know of these highlights, and I would admit, um, Ghana cannot take for the cases to go up.
No.
Now it's like the cases are 580. I remember checking the death cases or the actual deaths before, I came back, and it was 380 or something. So within, let's say, 1 month and a half, having
Mm-hmm.
200 added onto that, and just seeing particular cases such as the UK John's Bakery, CO case, and even recently, and not to say that these people matter more than the other cases, but um, seeing public faces actually disappearing from the scene because of it makes it so um, like
Yeah.
real. Also, this
Yeah.
renowned
Yeah.
photographer in Ghana called Bob Pixel, rest in peace. He also, lost his fight, his battle with it last week, which also was like, oh man, it's he wasn't even old, just a
Yeah.
family man and things. Even this crazy case that I heard of here in Amsterdam. What? A 21-year-old girl, caught COVID and lost her life. The dad heard about it and he had a heart attack and died as well.
Oh.
So that is
What?
just crazy news, um, to me. And it really says, the importance of, keeping, really cherishing the life that we have, because we only have one. This body
Oh
is
yeah.
just one. So if a vaccine which is needed for it can handle it, you know what I mean. I think these are probably the type of steps that need to be taken where people could feel safe, where people could feel confident to actually, be on board with the measures that are needed, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
distrust
Hmm.
is going on as well. But I must say that
Yeah.
you know, yeah, um, Ghana's on the front line of making things happen, and and doing
Yeah.
this. I pray that everything would just go well as it really is. But it's
Yeah.
we don't
Let's
need
see
any
how
more chaos.
quickly.
Yeah,
Let's see how quickly they can get this 600,000 doses vaccinated, and
yeah,
we
yeah.
watch it
They'll probably
closely. We'll see.
exactly. They'll probably start in crowded places, and I think also the what I still remember from Palgrave's testimony is like he wasn't feeling good.
Mhm.
He went to one hospital there, they didn't have any beds. Then he went to another. Like that, I hate hearing that type of stories. Like you don't have any beds, so we just have to like look for another hospital while you're just gasping for breath. I don't know. It's oh man, oh that's that's
Yeah.
that's terrible. That's terrible to go through.
Right. Yes,
Seriously,
and especially during the pandemic.
especially that.
Especially
Yeah,
during the pandemic.
absolutely.
So
Another highlight in Ghana news. Yes,
that's
you were saying something.
yeah. I was about to say that's not the only thing that's been going on in Ghana. What's Mhm.
I'm
Well, you
laughing
you
because
you
this is
you you take this one.
I'm laughing because it's such an interesting topic, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And even Palgrave, on he's like campaigning against it, heavy, heavy. You know what I mean? And okay, so let's just get through it. So Ghana security forces shut down LGBTQ office rights group. So the topic of LGBTQ has been going on in Ghana public news due to plenty of reasons, even from people from the likes of Papi Cujo, with this other girl, Deborah, I forgot her name. She is One Love sister, have been kind of supporting that, LGBTQ in terms of the community and its rights should be handled by Ghanaian government and everything. So it's kind of been going viral on Twitter, but not only on Twitter, but it's been this topic of discussion. One of the things that happened was that the LGBT plus rights Ghana group says its Africa office was raided and closed by security officers. Ghana security forces raided and shut down the office of an LGBTQ rights. Well, it takes a lot of breath saying LGBTQ. Man, I'm just watching. Group in the capital, Accra. The organization has said after politicians and religious leaders called for its closure, gay sex is a criminal offense in the West African country, and members of the LGBTQ community face widespread discrimination. One of the things that on that particular day, in the morning when it happened, the office was raided by national security. The LGBT plus rights Ghana group said on Twitter on Wednesday. You see how I'm struggling with this abbreviation. At this moment, we
Yes.
no at this moment, we have no longer have access to our safe space and our safety is being threatened. It said, adding that a few days ago, traditional leaders threatened to burn down our office, but the police said that it did not help. Looking a bit into, where this all of this is coming from is that Ghana's minister designate for gender, children, and social protection, for example, Sarah Ajua Safo said last week that the issue of the criminality of LGBT is non negotiable, and our cultural practices also frown on it. There is no legislation in Ghana explicitly prohibiting homosexuality, but gay sex is criminalized, with offenders potentially facing up to 25 years in prison. One of the things that this was to my attention was that people in government and even the president recently went on into just public television, or no, it was a meeting. Let me look for this before I start quoting things wrong. and basically saying that not on his watch would, um, the
Yeah.
LGBT community or the rights
Not
surrounding
during
it,
his presidency, something like that.
something, yeah, right, wouldn't be allowed, during his presidency. And what I am
Yeah.
curious
Seen it.
about is how this topic have come up. That is something that I am really curious, and I'm quickly like looking for this because it's been on my Twitter feed like the whole week and all of that, and including Palgrave, because he's very close into politics, has been on his social media just saying, okay, Ghana's not ready, Ghana's not ready, and so forth. Um, I don't know. This is aside from people's opinion. Obviously, in
Hmm.
general, I have to say, um, I've seen some sort of activism from Europe or from the Netherlands on behalf of African countries. Um, supporting the LGBTQ community and things like that. But I always found this, and this is like aside from any religious standpoint, is that looking at the cultural aspects of, you know, African countries, like looking at it, just studying, our history and things like that. I summarize it, and I think this is also a bit of psychology that you could elaborate on. um, it happens that no matter in what tribe or community um, or you're from, the focus is always on like family expansion or multiplication. You get what I mean? And
Hmm. Hmm.
the homosexual aspect, I feel like it will cross not just the I just feel like it crosses the the aspect where African cultures are really focused on, which is okay, have kids, multiply. You know what I mean? It is
Hmm.
rather it would rather be a polygamous environment than you know um, homosexual.
Homosexual.
I would say. What do
Hmm.
you think about that? What is your
Mm,
observation on that?
good that you mentioned that because this week I've also been thinking about that a lot.
Yeah,
And I'm just going running through a book real quick. This
right.
book. So, you know, so this book pretty much documents. They say it's a book on evolution theory, but really it's not. It is a book
Where did
documenting
you get
or
that
an
from?
attempt
Where
to
did you get that
document.
from? Right.
So it's a book to it's a national international bestseller. It's a book attempting to document, let's say, how society has developed. And one
Right.
of my notes have always been before the agriculture revolution, or even until no, until the industrial revolution, success of humanity have always been procreation. So everything that cultures were created or everything systems were built that will advance procreation, that will make it
Yeah.
possible to procreate. That is how you determine whether a civilization was successful or not. If we look
Yeah.
at the Roman Empire or we look at the Greek Empire, we look at the Egyptian, you can tell as if a civilization was a success by their
Yeah.
population. The more
Yeah.
people they had, the more success. It is actually in this era, if whether we in the era of industrialization and transform
Yeah.
into the era of information and technology, whatnot, but it's only in this era where that is not the case. This era,
Right.
we don't look at India for having over 1 billion population and say, hey, that's a successful nation. That's not how we look
Yeah.
at countries now, right? So things have shifted, things have changed. Yes, you can say that within the African culture, it's set up that the more family you can make, or the more members of the family that you can have, the more children that you can make, that determines, or that is evident of the success of your manhood or the success of the family. But that's not
Yeah.
of today. That's very, that's of the past. But it explains why these cultures are like this. That's why homosexual, even if it has been always amongst civilizations, it is now becoming
Yeah.
more, or it's coming more to the surface than ever before,
Ever,
simply
yeah.
because simply because we do not judge civilization or the point of cultures
Right.
by the amount of members or the amount of population that they have, as before. That that has been going through my mind, exactly that.
Yeah.
So the
Right.
reason of, yeah. But
Such an
it's an
interesting
interesting fact.
explanation. Yeah,
Mhm.
it definitely is.
I find
Definitely
it
is
very
something.
interesting that you say that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're thinking the same thoughts. Look at that.
We are,
um,
we are. Yes.
well, to come back on, that topic and how it has been coming up.
Gone.
Well, President Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo said that it will not be under his presidency that same-sex marriage will be legalized in Ghana. A statement from the presidency was responding to a recent resurfacing of the issue. So it basically resurfaced. The main opposition, National Democratic Congress, scribe, had made the allegation warranting the response. And this is nothing but a baseless and vile fabrication by no less a person than the general secretary of the leading opposition party in Ghana. So, for the avoidance of doubt, the president has never stated anywhere that under his presidency, men will marry men and women will marry women. The statement signed by Eugene Arhin, director of communication at the presidency, said. And the president faced a
Mhm.
backlash earlier this year where most Ghanaians accused him of not being empathetic enough on the same sex question in an interview with Al Jazeera. I didn't know about that actually. And asked why homosexuality remained a criminal offense in Ghana. The president said, I don't believe that in Ghana so far, a
Mhm.
sufficiently strong coalition has emerged, which is having that impact of public opinion that will say,
Mhm.
change it. Let's then have a new paradigm in Ghana. So
Yes.
basically, he's saying, up until
Mm.
a majority come and discuss this, it's not, it's not my problem. Let me just put it in Irma language. And he adds that, like in other parts of the world, it will take the activities of groups and individuals to try bring it up for discussion. At the moment, he says, I don't feel and I don't see that in Ghana there is that strong current of opinion that is saying that this is something that we need to even deal with. It is not so far a matter which is on the agenda.
Mhm.
And a lawyer by training, the president recounted his days as a young boy in England where homosexuality was banned and illegal, a time when politicians thought it was an anathema to be homosexual, saying he believed the same processes will bring about changes. His views are slightly moderate to that of
Mhm.
Ghana's third most powerful man, Speaker of Parliament Mike Okoye, which is an ardent anti gay rights activist. And in his most recent pronouncement on the issue, he said Africa was getting tired of the seeming cultural imposition. So he's like straight on against that. Yeah, I think that in general, um, basically government is saying, you know what, unless a majority of people come with this issue, it is just not our thing. People rating that
Mhm.
community center, some said it was for safety measures, some said it was just unfair action. I'm sure that, organization from the Western world will probably would want to chime in or butt in, but I must
Mhm.
say that aside from South Africa, which is the country most closest to Western, let's say, life. You know, I don't see it happen anytime soon. I have to admit. I have to admit, people will either see it as, a Western way of life that Africa doesn't have to take on. They would see it against the cultural aspect, or against what is really important to, African societies. It is pretty interesting, I must say. Obviously, people in the arts, that have been exposed to, different worlds such as the West, would support it and use their platform of influence to support it. But if you would then look
Hmm.
at the interests of actual Ghanaians, the population, it would be relatively low to even see it as something to focus on. Yeah, I wonder, next time when we have Palgrave on, we should, ask him about it, because he has been out there, being tough
I'm
on
going to
that.
ask him personally. I'm, I'm not a social
Yeah,
media, hence I have no idea what they're saying about it. But I'm going to ask him personally to check
yeah,
on
we
him.
should.
But like
We should.
like the president said, he's waiting on. It should come to him. The discussion has to come from the society, right? And that's the whole thing. And by the way, this has been a topic on Clubhouse. Lots of groups have been talking about it.
Oh,
So
is it?
I've had the opportunity to kind of like to observe Ghanaians, the Ghanaian community online a bit. And what you will find is they all or most of them do agree that yes, society, Ghanaian society is just not ready for it yet.
Yeah.
Um, and if the society is not ready for it, or the people are not ready for it, but still the government goes through with, let's say, legalizing it, then they will feel like it is being opposing onto them
Mm,
by the government, which is something
right.
they don't want. And even so that they will feel like it is external forces or external countries, external parties who are forcing the Ghanaian parliament or
Yeah.
The Ghanaian politicians to enforce their practices upon their people. So then the question
Yeah.
arises, okay, when is the society ready? Like, but that will take a long time. And there was this member of the LGBTQ community who did say that, you know, has been an issue ongoing, like because he's worked with different campaigns and
Right.
different organizations on raising awareness.
Yeah.
Um, he said it comes to a point where you just the politicians or the president just has to do something, right? If he is to wait on society, then he can wait and wait and wait and wait, and it may never come. But if
Yeah.
he can make a deal or if he can make a decision that, okay, whether you guys are ready or not, we're doing this, then that will also, speed things up. But the effects or the pushback will be great, definitely. I like any changes, but yeah, someone will have to do something. But of course, the discussion is it good for the nation or not? That's an entire discussion on its
Yeah.
own. But yeah, society eh, will have to decide, or it all
Yeah.
depending on the awareness of the people. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's a big one.
Well, let's keep an eye on that one.
Definitely.
On that note, we have reached the clock on 9 p.m. coming to you live from Amsterdam. You're listening to Africa on Focus with myself and Donny, where we highlight matters rising in Africa. I think we would definitely have to
Hmm.
pick up on a separate episode. I think it's in 2 weeks, where we have a spot free, to really highlight, some of the things that we can do during this pandemic to get us through. Because there were some interesting findings, I do remember, from growing
Yes.
a garden to preparing your favorite food. So we'll definitely then go
Yes.
into that. Is there anything specific that you will be doing this month from here on out? Um,
Like in
yeah,
March.
yeah, and in March,
Uh,
like to keep you through this pandemic. I have, mentally prepared that, lockdown is still going to be a thing. They'll probably be lifting curfew from the 15th of March, but, I'm not getting my hopes up. Um,
mhm.
yeah, I have,
Um,
I've invested in creating a good morning routine. That's something, yeah.
oh, nice. That's do you mind do you mind to share that with us before we leave?
Sure, 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 sure. So I happen to be, I'm working on bad habits of being late for things. So I am actually I've asked myself the question, how can I better prepare for the day? So what I've done now is to work on a morning routine first, because I have the nasty habit of sleeping late, and then just sleeping late. That's basically it. So I've set an alarm clock to remind me of, hey, you just have a half an hour to stop what you're doing and go to bed. And
Mhm.
I've also introduced some suggestion from Fabulous Life app. I stumbled upon it because they keep sponsoring messages on my Instagram. So what I've done in mornings is getting up first, have a maximum of 2 times snoozing by waking up, drinking water. Normally, I didn't touch on social media up until 11 a.m., so that sticks. So when I get up, actually do some stretches and also do some reading, and really have like a good glass of water to wake up. And yeah, aside from the normals, the prayers and stuff like that, I also go and do a workout in the hall. And yeah, from the workouts every other day, and then the stretches every day. So now I have mastered the art of drinking water. Now it's really that workout routine that I am, introducing, and things like that. So that is the beginning of the morning routine that I have shaped so far.
Oh, wow. Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
Amazing,
that's pretty much.
amazing. Well, we'll see end of March how things are going,
Yeah.
and if you've added new sections to it. But nice, amazing, amazing. Great. Thank you.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. What about yourself? Any new plans? Any new something before March hits?
No, 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 no. Not really. Not really. I'm just working on some business stuff.
Yeah,
But I have to work on my resume a bit and then see where. Because since I finished my master's, I'm still looking to transition back to an office job and also seeing what is best for me. So I'm currently
yeah,
really, I feel like dive into the marketplace to see how I can
yeah,
make the most out of it. But yeah, hopefully
yeah,
March is going to be a better month. Hmm.
yeah. Let's hope for that. Yeah, it definitely takes some time. I realize to even do that is, it requires some commitment, like, 3 hours
Yeah,
a day or something like that, or else you'll just be frustrated on about everything.
yeah.
Basically, that's really
Everything,
what it
yeah.
is.
Not
So,
finding anything or not even knowing where to look, and
ah,
this and that.
man,
And the offers that you
it,
keep are getting are just not what you used to or what you would expect. So how to cope with that.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a different thing.
yeah, that deserves a whole, exercise and something on that. But you'll get through it. Definitely, we all get through
We'll get through it.
it.
Yes, exactly.
All
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to Africa on Focus. I was just informed that due to a song that we played, what's it called? Facebook pretty much said, you know what, let's end this video. So we had been streaming on YouTube, which you can always watch on the YouTube channel, because people always revisit our conversations. One actually being very, very demanding was the one that we had with the Achampong. So people do revisit that interview, which is super cool. African Focus comes back to you next week, Sunday from 7 p.m., coming to you live from the city of Amsterdam. Next week, we will have Let's Chat Africa, where we have our panelists, our Afro, Pan African panel members. We'll be talking about matters rising in Africa. Do you have some suggestions or tips for something that you would really, really like to talk about? Make sure that you share it in a comment box. You could also send us a DM through the High Radio social media platform or African Focus. Make sure that you follow African Focus on YouTube and Facebook and also Instagram and also Twitter, which you can also find me on, Miss Abba. Donny is staying away from everything internet, so let's leave that alone. But you'll be definitely will be able to find us on there. Also, if you missed any episode and you would really love to tune in from, from your car or something, make sure that you tune in to Africa on Focus, the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Aftown, and all of the streaming platforms. Google Play, I think they've lifted. Google Play is not something anymore. I think it's YouTube Music now. You can also find us there. So make sure that you tune in and catch up with the special guests that we have had on. Thanks so much for listening. God bless. Stay safe, stay healthy, and make sure that you keep all of the love alive, but on a social distancing mode. We'll be closing off
Yes,
with
sir.
we'll be closing off with Team Maya, and make sure that you enjoy that song before the new week hits. Happy New Month in advance, and we will be catching you